Disney doesn't know what a Disney princess is anymore, which is crazy.
The fact that Disney's budget for Snow White 2025 was well above $350 million altogether when you're factoring in marketing expenses and everything to do with their overall support for Rachel Zegler.
And then they couldn't put dwarfs because this is just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive.
So even though woke in some sense feels like it's dead, it still has to run its course through the system. The ghosts have to get out of the machine in essence.
What if Disney, the king of fairy tales, turned on its own princesses and demanded they pay back millions for a movie that crashed harder than a poisoned apple hitting the floor? Buckle up, because the Snow White 2025 saga is a Hollywood train wreck you can't look away from. We're talking a $370 million disaster, a rumored refund showdown with Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, and a controversy so thick it's choking the magic right out of the mouse house. This isn't just a flop, it's a full-blown meltdown, and the story's wilder than anything Walt ever dreamed up.
The controversies surrounding Disney's Snow White remake show that we are still in the thick of the culture wars. Oh, have we been following the Snow White?
Actually, the first time hearing
Disney went all in on this one. They dropped over $370 million, production, marketing, the works, betting that a live-action Snow White would be their next golden ticket. Rachel Zegler, fresh off West Side Story, was cast as the fairest of them all, a rising star with a voice to match. Gal Gadot, the Wonder Woman herself, stepped in as the evil queen, bringing A-list muscle to the mix. On paper, it was a slam dunk, a modern twist on the 1937 classic that kicked off Disney's empire. The studio pumped cash into dazzling sets, new songs, and a hype machine that screamed blockbuster. They even rolled out Zegler on talk shows and social media, banking on her to charm a new generation. Everyone thought this was the dream team to bring Snow White back to life. But oh, how fast dreams can turn into nightmares.
Progressive. You'd think the most progressive thing would be get people jobs, and dwarves want to work.
This is like an honest golden employment opportunity for dwarves.
There's not that many scripts that come down the pike.
No, only 7 of them.
Trouble started brewing before the cameras even rolled. When Zegler's casting dropped, the internet lit up, and not in a good way. Some fans lost it over a Latina playing a princess described as white as snow, hurling accusations of woke casting gone wild. Zegler didn't back down though. She hit back in interviews, calling the original 1937 film dated and its prince a stalker. She promised a Snow White who ditched the damsel vibes for leadership goals. Bold? Sure, but it set off a firestorm. Disney loyalists clutched their pearls, raging that she was trashing a sacred classic. The backlash was loud, and it was only the beginning. What nobody saw coming was how those early cracks would split wide open.
And it's more than just a movie at this point, because normally I wouldn't even watch a princess movie, but it became such a punching bag and a symbol. And Rachel Zegler has become the symbol of everything that's wrong with modern Hollywood right now.
Then the budget started spiraling out of control. Insiders say the $370 million tab wasn't just from fancy costumes or CGI dwarfs, though those didn't help. Reshoots piled up fast. Scenes were scrapped and redone over and over as creative disagreements tore through the set. Lavish designs got tweaked, then trashed. Shooting schedules stretched longer than a wicked queen's grudge. Some whisper that Disney execs got so obsessed with making a spectacle, they lost sight of the bottom line. Others point to chaos behind the scenes. Disorganization, clashing visions, and a spending spree that turned a fairy tale into a financial horror show. By the time they wrapped, the bill was astronomical and the pressure was on. But that wasn't the whole story.
And the audience has spoken. Honestly, Glenn, they were telling every trailer that hit YouTube was getting ratioed into oblivion. And yeah, so Disney was telling you exactly what this movie was going to be. These were movies made with a mindset of identity politics, intersectional feminism, which really goes against what Hollywood had done for hundreds of years, or 100 years, hundreds of years, sorry. You see something that's just good, that it disgusts them.
Here's where it gets juicy. Zegler and Gadot, the film's beating heart, couldn't stand each other, or so the rumors go. Off-screen, their vibes were ice cold. Zegler's outspoken posts about Palestine clashed hard with Gadot's pro-Israel stance, a divide that fueled whispers of a feud. On set, things got worse. Leaks claim Gadot thought Zegler meddled too much in script changes, while Zegler saw Gadot as dismissive, brushing off her ideas like crumbs off a cape. Crew members say filming stalled constantly. Both stars had reps swooping in to haggle over lines, angles, everything. The tension was so thick you could have cut it with a magic mirror. Their chemistry was supposed to sell the movie, but instead it felt forced, flat, and frigid. And what happened next would shock everyone.
And I think this is also, this movie, her reaction, the way they did all of it, I think this is part of the undoing of that era as well.
The fans didn't hold back either. When the first trailer hit YouTube, it got slammed. Downvotes outnumbered likes like dwarves outnumbering princes. Comments ripped it apart. Woke trash. Where's the magic? Test screenings were a disaster too. Audiences walked out calling it soulless, saying Zegler and Gadot had zero spark. The CGI magical creatures replacing real dwarf actors, thanks to Peter Dinklage's loud critique, only made it worse. People wanted heart, wonder, the Disney they grew up with. Instead, they got a glossy shell that felt like a lecture, not a fairy tale. Every teaser, every promo got ratioed into oblivion. The audience was screaming, no thanks. But Disney kept pushing. They were about to learn the hard way.
What's happened is masculinity has been drained out of Hollywood, and it turns out they needed it. That's what it was built on. Now, it doesn't mean, and so is femininity, which, Snow White is essentially feminism versus femininity. And sure, you could, yes, it's made in 1937, but it boggles my mind that Disney took the film that built their empire.
Yes.
That it is a paradigm shift movie that is sacred text in Hollywood, and just
opening weekend hit like a brick. Snow White pulled in a measly $42 million domestically. Pocket change against that $370 million price tag. Globally, it barely scraped $87 million, nowhere near the $500 million insiders say it needed to break even. Analysts called it a bloodbath, compared to The Lion King's $191 million debut, or Beauty and the Beast's $174 million. This was a humiliation. Theaters sat empty, buzz stayed dead, and Disney's golden remake streak snapped like a twig. Critics tore it apart too. Visually stunning, sure, but hollow, detached. A fairy tale with no soul. The numbers didn't lie. This was a flop of epic proportions, and the fallout was just getting started.
Disney is reportedly scaling back on Snow White. This movie is in serious trouble. It's been in production hell forever. And y'all probably know about the controversies because they just keep popping up. They could not make this movie work for the life of them, and now they're trying to bury it.
Now, here's the bombshell that's got Hollywood buzzing. Word on the street is Disney's so fed up, they're demanding Zegler and Gadot cough up cash, millions, to cover the losses. No legal papers have surfaced, but insiders swear the studio's pointing fingers at their stars. The claim? Their public spats and controversies tanked the film's chances, and they should pay for it. It's a wild move. Studios don't usually chase talent for refunds. Some say it's a scare tactic to shut them up. Others think Disney's desperate to offset the bleeding. Either way, it's a plot twist nobody saw coming. Could they actually pull it off? Hang tight, because the blame game's about to get messy.
The corporate press, still woke as they are playing this game where they're like, a bunch of toxic people. That's what they're saying in Variety. There is another controversy, and this one's actually kind of funny, and that is most people have been complaining that the evil witch who is jealous of Snow White's beauty is substantially more attractive than Snow White.
So who's really at fault here? Zegler's camp says she's the scapegoat. Her outdated jabs at the original were just honesty, and Disney should have seen the backlash coming. Gadot's fans argue she's too big to blame, a pro who didn't stir the pot. But dig deeper, and the execs look guilty too. They greenlit the bloated budget, ignored the warning signs, and pushed a progressive redo that fans didn't want. The dwarf switch, the girl boss angle, it all screamed misstep. Maybe it's not just the stars, maybe Disney lost touch with its own magic. Whatever the truth, this mess has everyone picking sides, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
With the 7 politically correct companions, this movie was never going to make it out. Disney scales back Snow White Hollywood premiere amid Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot controversies. Now, this is the lighter headline, because I could have gone with, why is Disney burying Snow White?
The aftermath's a circus. Zegler posted a video of herself giggling in an empty theater, watching her own flop like it's a win, pure delusion, or next-level trolling. Gadot stayed cool, dodging the drama with vague promo lines. Disney's in panic mode, scaling back premieres and praying streaming can salvage something. The brand's taking a hit. Once untouchable, now it's the punchline. Careers are wobbling too. Zegler's next big thing glow is fading fast, and Gadot's invincible aura's got cracks. This isn't just a movie anymore. It's a warning sign flashing in neon. And the craziest part? It might not be over yet.
Disney is hosting a Hollywood premiere of Snow White March 15th, but the studio won't be rolling out a robust red carpet. That's right. The premiere is just, don't tell anybody. They have to do it. We'll include a pre-party and screening at the El Capitan Theater with titular star Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen.
So where does this leave us? Snow White 2025 could be the flop that finally kills Disney's remake obsession, or at least forces a hard rethink. A studio built on fairy tales stumbled into a nightmare of its own making, and dragging its stars into a refund rumor only makes it uglier. Will Zegler and Gadot bounce back, or are they collateral damage in a bigger war? One thing's for sure, this saga's got more twists than a Wicked Queen spellbook, and it's left us all wondering, can Disney ever find its happily ever after again?